the seduction.
All right, Juan Martin.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining me.
I'm honored to be here.
I appreciate that. So, Juan and I met where I meet most of my friends at a bar about a week ago?
Yeah, it was about a week ago.
I'll let you tell them how we met, but we were just bullshitting, and I have not started the podcast up. I've been putt-putting on my dirt bike. I've been messing around on my Jeep, trying to keep the random thoughts thing alive.
Yeah.
But I haven't fired up the cameras and done this in a long time. I've been trying to figure out a way to make it sustainable, because before it required 3 people, 1 and 2, just to shoot the show, and then a third person to kind of produce it along the way. You run out of friends pretty quick. You know what I mean? There's only so many people in your life.
Who wants to do that?
My sons did it, but how many friends can I call on? Like, it was difficult to get 3 people at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Every week.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I get that too.
So Juan, I appreciate you coming on, and you inspired me to want to fire the damn cameras back up. I want to make sure nothing's in the shot, my laptop. So you inspired me to fire the cameras back up, and here we are. We made a commitment, buzzed commitment.
A buzz commitment.
And still followed through.
Still followed through. Without any, except for one, I said I'll be an hour late.
No,
but everything else went.
An hour late. You asked me, you said, can we put it off?
You're right. You're right. You asked.
You're not late.
Yeah, you're right. And I came early. So
You did. I appreciate that. It was usually people make plans under the influence of alcohol, get phone numbers. You know how many phone numbers I've got in my phone? What about you?
No, you're right.
Tons?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, who the fuck is this?
Who is it? You're labeled in my phone as Toots.
Just Toots?
Just Toots.
So I'm the only person you met from Toots that you thought well enough to punch the number in.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, there was an impression made.
I'm honored. I'm honored. So, well, we'll start there because we've been talking about photography. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why. How did we meet? Tell me how we met. Because I remember. I just want your version.
I remember you walked in, and I was just sitting down. I don't know what I was doing. I was just at Toots, just chilling, really. Mm-hmm. Probably watching a little sports. But you walked in. You was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And you didn't pay any attention to me. I just looked over. I was like, "Oh, okay." You smiling.
You were just a customer.
I was just a regular customer. Yeah, you were just a regular customer too. But you were smiling, and I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know why you tapped me on my shoulder like you knew me, but
I do that to a lot of people.
You do that to a lot of people. Like, you just, what's up, man? But yeah, you did that. That was cool though, because you kind of broke the ice whenever you did that. It made me less like, why is this guy talking to me? And I'm not even that type of person, but I would say, I was listening to your conversation, and unfortunately, I was a little buzzed. I wouldn't say I was drunk because I could.
You was drinking. That's
yeah,
okay. We
was.
Was at a bar.
Yeah, right. But you had said something. I think you were talking about photography. Yeah, you were talking about photography at Nissan and doing videography at Nissan, and I just heard you, and I was like, hold up. I want to, because I'm a big fan of videography and cinematography and stuff. So I was like,
who the fuck is this guy that does it for Nissan?
Yeah, who's this guy?
That's interesting. I think the same thing.
Nissan's a big name. You can go anywhere on the planet, and if you work for them, I mean,
we're not going to make it about Nissan. That's one thing I don't talk about. We can talk. I mean, I'm not afraid to say Nissan, but I don't really bring Nissan into it because Nissan's not the reason why we're doing all this. But
yeah, right.
That is pretty interesting to me that I do it for Nissan as well. It's odd.
Okay. Well, jump cut.
People are like, what do you do? I'm like, well, shit, it's kind of weird. My son, Brennan, my middle son, said, Dad, I know what you do for a living, but when people ask me, it's really confusing. It's hard to describe. And I'm like, yeah, man, I feel you. Because it is hard to describe. But yeah, that's how we met. And so you was like, hey, tell me more. And I slid over and you had my attention for the rest of the night. And we bullshitted and learned about crypto. And next thing I know, there's a laptop. And it was a pretty interesting conversation.
It got intense.
And, that happens a lot to me. That happens to me a lot, rather. That I meet someone like, fuck, I like this person.
Yeah.
Get his number and or him or her and say, hey, there's always a podcast out there. Everybody wants to do a podcast. I know I do. And never happens. But I remember waking up the next morning thinking, this fucking guy was pretty cool, man. You're young. You're 24 years old.
I just turned 25 on Valentine's Day, so.
No shit.
Yesterday. 25.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
25. So for me, That's that really draws me into you because I'm really about investing. I don't talk about the news. I don't talk about most of the world's problems. I focus on the individual because I believe that the individual is the only way to make a difference in the world. Yeah. Everybody in the world's covering the news and everybody's telling you how to do this and how to change society. And I thought, no, man, what if you just worked on yourself? So everything I do, whether people know it or not, it's about personal growth, how to be the best version of you possible. So when I meet someone like you at 24 years old that has this entrepreneurial, ambitious, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I want something out of life, I'm drawn to that because that was me at 24, and it's kind of rare.
I kind of knew that whenever you were talking. I was like, this guy is a little different than most. You know what I mean?
Well, entrepreneurs are
different.
Drawn to entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
Because none of us know what we're doing. We don't know how we're going to get there. We just have this drive, this, I call it desire.
Yeah.
Something forcing us to not accept the norm. And like we reject everything and say, nah, that just doesn't feel right.
Every time I want to say something, you say it.
Sorry.
Exactly. No. You're doing it perfect. Like,
Yeah.
that's perfect because you're saying exactly what I was about to say. You don't want to accept the norm. You said it right whenever I was about to say it. And that's exactly what it is.
I'm not opposed to the norm. If you fit that mold, there are very successful people. Doctors come out of the norm.
Yeah.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
Law enforcement. There's all kinds of amazing careers that I see people go down that came through the normal educational system. But I didn't fit from a very young age.
I didn't either. I'm the same way. I knew that because you know what's funny about me and all my friends?
What?
Is a lot of people want to be friends with somebody that is, like them in a lot of ways, but a lot of people like to be friends with somebody that wants to that's just different from them. I've noticed that different to what they want to be, but they could never be. Right. So I'm like my mom, right. She was very attracted to my dad, who was a very, very firm man. My dad was very, I guess you would say stereotypical alpha.
Stable.
Yeah. He was that guy. Said it.
Rock.
Yeah. He was a rock. My mom is more like a flower, right? But I noticed throughout life that some people are they like that type of thing. And I'm different from my mom and my dad. I'm different from both of them, but I have characteristics still. And I probably like personality traits. They weren't, I don't know if they were inherited through my DNA or whatever, but
They definitely had influence.
I would say so. How could you not? But I just noticed that they liked each other because they're different. But one thing about me is I want a woman who thinks more like me, not different. Not different. Of course, there's going to be some things that, as a woman, there's going to be differences based on. This is something I picked out.
What about
myself.
a woman that just compliments you?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Too, that too.
Because different is good because it's interesting. You know what I mean? Dating someone that's exactly like you, like your mirror image, would get boring pretty quick.
That would there would be things that are different. Okay, I'll put it like this: our goals and our interests, what we're interested in, which I think kind of makes a marriage, anyways. But if I can find my words right, our goals, our interests, and I can't even think of the other part that I'm missing. You may be able to pick up on it.
No, because I think about these things all the time. Because don't let me sidetrack and hijack the conversation because everything's about personal growth.
Yeah.
Now everything goes back to balance for me. It doesn't matter what we talk about. It all goes back to the same place, and I could shortchange that and get there, but I don't want to. I'd rather just get there naturally if we even get there. But why is it important to be the best version of you possible? For me, why do you think that is?
That you want to be the best version of you?
Yeah.
Because you want the best version of you is the real you, not the you that you maybe portray to other people, or because a lot of times we naturally, sometimes you may want to say something, but if you say that you're going to get fired, or
I don't believe that at all.
You think so?
You have to say it with conviction.
Or the way you say it.
With
right?
conviction.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the way you say it.
Right.
Meaning, I believe.
Okay.
Conviction is Not I want you to believe. Conviction is I believe. I don't give a fuck what you think beyond conviction, right? It's I know. It's not even I believe at that point.
Yeah.
I believe requires faith.
Yeah.
I know is conviction. And it's powerful. Anyways, I don't want to go down that path. That's a fun one because I'd love to have that conversation too. So the best version of me possible is to always be productive, honest, always making daily choices that put me in a position to make... I always try to put myself in a position to make the best choice possible at the time to where tomorrow I don't have regret. And ultimately, so I am good for someone else, right? Yeah. I get to compliment someone else because in the end, the best version of me is only to be compatible with someone else. And if I'm not focused on being the best version of me possible, then I will destroy the relationship. Any relationship that I ever invest in, I'll be a drag on that relationship in a matter of time. Once I get complacent, once I get normalized and I think, okay, I've made it. We have the fence, we have the house, and we have kids, and now everything's good, right? Yeah. Nope. Yeah. Nope. That's when it all starts to deteriorate. And so if you're not focused on being better every day, then you get boring to your mate. You become a burden to the relationship when you do not address the things at work that you know you should, your boss, right? Societal things that you know you should speak upon, right? And you're not worried about losing your job because if you take that home, you bitch about it every day to your spouse, whether it be your husband or your wife or whatever it is. Then you become a drag on the relationship and people start to, right, put distance in that. So that's why I'm focused on being the best version of me, is because it's the best version for my relationship, because I think that's what's most important in life is sharing an experience, sharing life with someone else to complement your life. Yeah. And that's why I kind of went the long way around, but yeah, I think it's about sharing it with someone. I don't know. I used to think I could be happy alone. I figured out quickly, no, life requires affection, investment in others, people investing in you. And you were kind of talking about relationship things, and which took me on that path. Yeah.
Well, I think that we're attracted to things that maybe things that we are... I can't speak for every person because I don't know every person.
You pretty much can speak for the most because we're all the same. And
we are.
But tell me what you want. You don't have to speak for anybody. Speak for you. There's a ton of people that relate.
I feel like sometimes this is the best way I can put it in like the straightforward way. I feel like we are searching, especially for like a mate. Whenever I'm speaking, I feel like we're searching for somebody that wants to be in the same place that we're in, but ourselves we're missing, and we see that other person has what we're missing and can contribute to getting to that place that we need to be. And, I could be wrong. I'm 25.
No, you're absolutely right in your own way with the experience you have. You're not wrong.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if you're looking for answers here or if you're just trying to figure it out for yourself. And I'm happy to help you get there and to let you just talk about it, because everyone is trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out. At 25, at 15, at 48, at 72, everyone is making choices every day to try to increase their sexual market value, to be attracted by someone else, to be attractive to someone else. They just don't realize it. The car you drive.
Subconscious.
Every investment you make in life, subconsciously, is to try to increase your sexual market value, to increase the odds that you will be attractive to someone else. Now, let's say you land that someone else.
It doesn't have to be sexual either.
No, it doesn't have to be sexual. It could be social market value.
Yeah.
You can status quo. The SMV, the social market value, is the SMP, the social marketplace, or the sexual marketplace. That's the two environments that you're living in. But they all go back to your sexual market value. It's not about having sex. It's about being attractive to someone else, which leads to sex, procreation. Like the body has a desire to reproduce. Whether you want to or not, why do we fuck? It's to have children, right? Yeah. It's like if you get through the biology and you're like, oh yeah, it's procreation.
Okay.
And I accept that. I'm okay with that. But I think it's more than that. I think it's about being happy. I think it's about being happy. And I think on average, the average human being up in the 99 percentile requires the affection of another human being. It doesn't have to be the same sex. It doesn't have to be... I think human beings just need to be desired. Human beings think they want to love. Loving somebody or something's cool. I think it's great.
Yeah.
It's also fucking miserable. If you love something or someone that doesn't love you back, that's called infatuation.
That hurts.
It'll fucking kill you. Because your body releases high levels of cortisol, and it will literally cause heart attacks, strokes. Stress. People fucking put a gun in their goddamn mouth and pull their fucking trigger. Absolutely. Jump off buildings and bridges all over love. But it's not because they loved someone. It's because they wasn't loved back. So every choice we make in life is to increase our value to someone else, that they continue to see us as someone that's producing more than they're consuming. Someone that produces value in their life. Mm-hmm. And so every choice I make, every moment of my life, is to determine whether or not it's producing value in the world. And that's how I measure everything at this point in my life. When I am left with a yes or a no, I say, okay. Instinctively, it's not something I really have. I've practiced so much that now I just instinctively know, no, shortcuts, short-term gains. Let me tell you where I came up with this quote. Short-term gains equal long-term misery. I was recently in Miami, in the shithole of Miami, and there was so the homeless population's rampant, right? Living under bridges. I was going into like a CVS or a Walgreens, and there was a turd that fucking long. That long. I had to step over it. Like, I was like hopscotching. Like, goddamn, how do you get over that? Like, it was bad. It was the biggest fucking turd I've ever seen in my life. At the entrance of this store. And in my brain, I'm thinking, how does this happen? I mean, it was everywhere, right? But this particular one was right there. I will not edit this out either. It was bad. It was graphic. It was normal. People just stepping over it like it was nothing. They were going in getting their shit, and I'm standing there looking at this turd thinking, how does this happen in societies? And I look around, I see all the homeless people, I seen everything, and I thought, oh, yeah, it's short-term gain. People that make investments that are like quick hits, quick highs, I want this now. I want to feel loved. I want to feel high. I just want this problem to go away. Rather than addressing the problem, they take the shortcut.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit me. I thought, oh, yeah, fuck, that makes sense. Short-term gains equal long-term misery. Or short-term gain could equal long-term pain. Anyways, I just started thinking about that. And every time I was really faced with something in life, it was always the hard way was the right way. It was every single time the hard way was the right way. Not necessarily it was miserable, but it took a little more effort.
Oh, yeah.
Every time the right way should take more effort. And that's kind of the way I look at it. I think, well, am I taking the easy way? But what most people do, and what I used to do, was justify it and say, no, that's the right way. Right? The path of least resistance.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion, but I don't know how I started talking about that, but I started thinking, well, yeah, I do, because I needed to be the best father I could be, the best friend I could be, the best husband I can be, the best son, right? And so I just started thinking, why am I taking the easy way? And I don't know. That's it for me. I just realized the hard way is the best way.
I agree with you too. But I have to say because I'm actually asking you. I mean, I don't think it's with you. Sometimes, I can't say it's just set in stone. Somebody older than you is much wiser than you. But
no, it's not. Most of your school teachers were full of shit. And so were your parents. My parents were full of shit. Everybody that's ever been a parent is the most full of shit person that's ever lived. I can tell you that. That's just the nature of parenting. Because parents by nature don't want to admit to their children that they don't know. That's a conversation I'd love to have. Yeah. But I'll let you go ahead.
I have a 7-month babies.
Okay, well, when they get old enough to say, Daddy, why's this? And you're like, oh, that's because of this. Because they idolize you. Yeah. Like, for the first time in your life, maybe you were the star quarterback. Maybe you were these things, right? Yeah. But once you stop being that, and a child sees you as that, the mom feels like the fucking head cheerleader. She could have been a nobody her entire life, but the moment she has this child that looks up to her, that needs her for every single thing, she's a fucking superhero.
Yeah.
And it's hard for parents to say, I'm not sure, or I don't know. They bullshit. And so do fucking teachers. They're full of shit. They can't say, I'm not sure, but let's figure it out. Like you don't hear that as a child.
Yeah.
And if you do, you better latch on to that person. If someone says, I'm not sure, but let's figure it out.
It's honesty.
Yeah, you better fucking latch on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but yeah, with age does come wisdom. But just because someone's older does not mean they're wiser. No.
What about it? With experience comes wisdom.
Experience is the only way to gain wisdom.
Only way.
You cannot buy experience. You cannot teach experience. That only comes from trial and error. And I would say most definitely error is the best way to get experience. Because if you got it right, you were lucky or someone showed you. You really need to get it wrong.
That's it, man.
Because if you get it wrong, then you get to say, why? And if you ever start asking why in life, you start fucking having epiphanies. Oh, shit. Like, you have those moments. You ever breathe in like that?
I naturally do that.
Right?
I'm naturally a why person.
Yeah.
I don't ever, that's the curiosity in me, though. I don't want to ever, I can't say I'll never because I don't know. But I will never, in my mindset, I will never try to stop asking why.
Please God, no. It's the only word that matters in the human vocabulary. You don't know these things about me, but it's the only word I care about. Out of all the words that the English language was, any language, human beings have come up with, why to me is a concept. It's an idea. It's a philosophy. Mm-hmm. Do you know that we're the only species that's ever existed, known to man, that has ever used the word or the idea or the concept of why? And if you really think about that, monkeys don't ask why. Yeah. They're brilliant. Ravens are probably one of the smartest creatures on the planet, the blackbird.
Yeah.
But they don't ask why. They're curious. They investigate. Mm-hmm. And they'll figure it out. But the only reason they do that is for food.
Yeah.
Food or sex. That's the only to be fed or to get fucked. That's the only reason why an animal will do something over and over and over. And sometimes it's fun and yada yada, but they don't ask why. Yeah. They don't ask why is it fun. And human beings are the only species that's ever said, why? And that's what separated us from everything. Whether that's God, whether that's whatever it is. I'm not going to debate that. I'm just saying that we are different because we say, why?
Yeah.
And it's magical. Do you know when human beings stop asking why?
When?
Yeah, think about that. When did human beings stop asking why? You know that's like the number one word for a child.
Whenever we think we're know-it-alls. Probably adolescence.
But, okay, why? Why do we stop?
Because we think we know the answer.
Think about it, though. Be honest. It's about 5 years old.
Okay. You meant like age-wise?
Yeah. Age-wise is when children stop asking why.
It's whenever they're just told the answer.
Statistically, it's when they go into the education system.
They're just told the answer.
Because a teacher says, because it's the way you have to do it. Mm. Right? She's got to deal with 30 fucking kids, or he or she, and she can't answer all these whys.
Because I said so.
Yeah, we have a lesson plan. Our education system, I think, is what's destroyed curiosity in the world. Now, I'm not mad at the education system because it's trying to feed 7.5 billion people. But those of us that refuse to accept, I ain't fucking doing that. And I stopped in the 4th grade. In the 4th grade's when I was like, I'm not fucking doing that. I'll cheat. And I did. From the 4th grade till I graduated, I cheated. And I never stopped asking why.
Middle school for me.
Yeah.
It was middle school for me.
It's the reason my kids are homeschooled. I said, how long you been cheating? They were like, since here. I was like, all right, fuck it. We'll homeschool you.
Do you know how hard it is? Because, okay, so fun fact about me is I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. Okay. So I grew up a Jehovah's Witnesses.
They ruined all your Saturdays.
They said no, Jehovah's.
Those bastards.
I think you're thinking of, I don't know who it is.
Jehovah's Witness is Saturdays.
Nope, Sunday. They are still Sundays.
Oh, really? Who does Saturdays?
I don't want to say Mormon because I think No, Mormons
I'm
do
pretty
Sunday.
sure it's Jehovah's Witness.
No, I grew up Jehovah's Witness. You can't tell me.
Somebody on the internet's typing right now.
You can't tell me.
Okay, so go ahead.
I'm the resource. No,
right.
but I grew up Jehovah's Witness, man, and the discussion of religion is such a sensitive topic. People get killed. I mean, that's really what starts those wars.
Well, I'd love to go down this if you want to go down it.
Let's do it.
Why? Why
It's
is it
important
such a
to
sensitive
me.
topic? Yeah, but it's
me.
important to you, but why do people freak out over it?
Oh, because it's important to them. Because they're not. I feel like people get overly sensitive to it because they feel like they're right and they have the answer, and it's very uncomfortable to be let down.
Why?
That's why. Why is it uncomfortable to be let down? Okay, so we get into psychology.
Yeah, well, that's the word. The word "why" is nothing but psychology.
It is, isn't it?
You go 3 whys deep, and people start crying. Literally, like if I find someone that's in trouble or they're going through a hard time, instead of giving them the answer, just ask them why, and you get to about 3 good, solid whys, and they're usually in tears.
I do it all the time at work.
Why is all that matters. I hear my dog. Journey. No. Okay, go ahead.
So
okay,
you said
so
why
do people get defensive? Defensive, yeah.
Okay, I'll do as many whys as I can. You don't even have to ask why. I will.
Well, no, let's just get through it
naturally
and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so I think people get defensive because it's very uncomfortable, especially if you're not searching to be wrong, and who's really searching to be wrong. But you're searching to be wrong.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Who gives a shit about what I'm doing right? I want to know about what I'm doing wrong. That's how you grow.
My man.
But that was just something I figured out. Like I'm lucky that I discovered that.
And that's something I'll probably think about later, for real. Yeah. But people tend to get offensive whenever things are that they think are right. Mm-hmm. They're leaning on that to be right. And once you tell them or maybe put them in an uncomfortable situation that makes them question their belief, that's whenever things get a little messed up. For instance, all right, so and that happens with everything. It's not just it's something
politics,
near and dear to
sports,
everything, everything,
religion.
So
it's human nature.
It's like somebody saying something that will make you question really is your mom. Somebody says something that you might think is true about your mom. You get defensive. Mm-hmm. You get offended, right? And with you being offended, you try to come back with the defense, and that's just naturally how it would go. But same with religion, I think it's the same way. You think it's this way. You feel uncomfortable whenever somebody puts a seed in your head that you might think is true.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Like you think that you wouldn't get offended if you think it's false. You'd probably laugh.
Exactly.
You'd be like, that's foolish.
Why?
Why would you say it's? Why would you get offended?
Why to all these? Yeah, I love it.
Why to all of them?
How about why would you not be offended?
Why would you not be offended?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't think that it's plausible, right? So you would think that it's foolish.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that, and we're going to go on, but we're going to come back to that. I promise. So why would you think that again? Someone. So you just covered because you think it may be true, or it's plausible.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's something that you really want. Oh, there it is. That's what I'm missing. Mm-hmm. Something that you want to be true,
or don't want to be true. Like if someone challenges your faith or your team
want to be true, or don't want to be true. It can go both ways. But whichever one, if you don't want it to be true, you don't want somebody to say it's true.
Yeah.
And if you want it to be true, you don't want to hear somebody to say it's not true. And if they put a little bit of
what we're describing here is it's good because what we're talking about, whether people realize it or not, is every negative interaction that's happening in the world today, because the world is divided, 100% divided, because they're being divided, because people are followers.
Oh, yeah.
And people need to identify with a tribe, a team, a group, because we are a group. It's what we are. We're just, I'm not saying we came from apes, but we are fucking related. Whether you want to admit it or not, we are closely related, and apes can only have about 80 individuals in a troop before it fractions.
Okay.
And it creates another troop.
Can we please hop on this subject?
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to leave this one. So we are very tribalistic creatures.
Okay.
Human beings just are. It's the reason why I believe that the Super Bowl is important, even though I don't follow any team. But I think the Super Bowl is important, and I think the reason why sports exist, especially like football, is because they are modern-day gladiators. We get to live vicariously. It's war. Ready, set. It's like the archers were about to let go of 1,000 arrows to the opposing army, right? And then I truly believe that's the reason why the Roman Colosseum was built, because times were so good, they had defeated everyone. So you start getting strife and tension amongst the common people because things are so good. Look at America. Look at every country in the world right now. We start looking for something to be pissed off about. So they created the Roman Colosseum. And it gave all these people the opportunity. Now, this is what I think. This is what I believe.
Okay.
I don't know this to be true. But if I had to assume why they would have created that and why sports are so important to the world, I kind of started thinking about that. Why is football important? Why is this important? And I started going back to where I got to, they're gladiators. And people got to live vicariously through these gladiators. That was their hero. They got to identify as this individual. And they fought on behalf of thousands of people. Now, why did I get to that point? I was trying to get to where you were going. It was important. Oh, because we're so separated and arguing. Okay, that's what it was. Because we're tribalistic.
You know what's funny? We already had this discussion that we have very similar personalities. And one thing about our personalities that comes very natural to both of us is that we will go off subject and try to attack this.
We're curious.
And attack that. Because we're very curious people naturally. And we'll attack this and we'll end up...
I don't want to lose where we was, though, because what you're talking about is really, really important.
Yeah.
Even the Seventh-day Adventist... and the religion and your mom and all these things that could possibly be attacked. I want to go further and say why. Because I think I figured out why. I think I know why. But I want to hear it from you. I would love for you to discover why. Because that's what I did. I discovered it. It was like an epiphany for me. It was like, okay, do you know what first principles are?
No.
Okay, first principles is science.
Okay.
So it's the philosophy of science. And that's simply asking why until you get to what's called the first principles, which means every answer you get should be a question. So every time you ask why and you get an answer, okay, that's great, but that's a symptom. That's a thing, right? That's not the answer. That's a question.
Right. Almost like oh my goodness.
You're good. Every answer should be a question until you go, oh, fuck. That's it. That's called first principles. When you know. Yeah.
Like the scientific method, whenever
just saying why.
I think the first step of scientific method is observing, and then you ask what is the word? It's a commonly used word. It's a scientific method.
I don't remember.
So it is a why.
First principles
is
getting to first principles, the root cause. So we do this in manufacturing when it comes to breakdowns. We got the 5 why. Okay, so that's just ask why 5 times. Within that 5 times, you should have found the root cause if you're doing it properly.
Okay.
So, same thing. People just don't realize they're using first principles all the time. People don't realize it. So, that's the reason why I like using why so much, because when you get to the root cause, you'll like, oh, fuck, that's why.
And plus, you can't get an answer until you ask the question.
Yeah.
You have to ask it to yourself.
I fucking talk about this all the time. Fuck the answers. It's all about the questions. Who cares about the answers? It's all about the questions you're asking. Like the answers, everybody's got a fucking answer. And that ain't getting us anywhere. You go to the doctor, they give you an answer. They give you a fucking pill. They give you a napkin, whatever. No, that's not why I'm sick. That's a symptom. Why am I sick? You know? So anyways, people shortchange the fucking process because we're lazy. We're lazy. We have taken out the curiosity in human beings. We don't encourage why, because why is complicated and it's hard. And you may ask why on one question. I have questions. I'm still asking why for years. And you know what I do? When it pops up, I'll ponder it. I say, I am no further, and I just let it go. But it'll come back to me, and I don't give up on it. I don't just say, well, this is why. No, there's still another question to be asked. So, I know we're probably boring people right now. So, why? God damn it, I struggle to even articulate what I'm trying to think. This is something that makes sense to me.
You're diving
but
deep.
I've never put it into words.
You're diving deep in mental. So, I think sometimes that can get uncomfortable. Not for me.
Not for me.
Not
Fuck
for me.
no. I'm just trying to figure out how not to bore the shit out of people. But fuck you. I don't really give a shit what you think. This is my personal experience, and if you're along for the ride, good for you. So, and I only record it because it gives me a chance to watch it back, and I actually learn from it. I'll learn from you. I'll learn from me, and you know, if I can learn from it, then other people can learn from it, and they can add to it and say, "Hey, Nathan, did you think about this?" And I'll be like, "Oh, fuck," because it pisses me off to have this epiphany with someone, and we didn't record it. No one else got to hear it, and so I love recording conversations. So we're still talking about the long version of why would someone be offended? Why would someone feel threatened? Why would we challenge or defend? Right, when someone is questioning us, right, threatening us. Yeah. Why? A religion. I'd love to stick with religion because it's all the same, but religion's an easy one.
I love it
because that's the one that most people are ready to die for.
Oh yeah,
and defend.
And they can't wait for somebody to say something that makes them feel uncomfortable. Okay, so you know, we live in America, so America's definitely majority Christian, even though there's a lot of diversity.
Said religion. We were talking about religion.
Religion.
So when it comes to religion, you're talking about all walks of life, and they will die for their religion.
I don't know all walks of life.
Well, you know, you Hindu and Buddha. And you got Muslim, and you know what I mean. These are all. Even Muslim will die, blow up of somebody because in the name of Allah, right? So these are people that have conviction. These are people that really believe in their religion. So you know, they don't like to be challenged, and I think it's fascinating because I say, well, why? Why don't you like to be challenged? Why do you not like to be threatened?
Why would you blow yourself up for God?
I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to have that conversation because that's a question we'll never get an answer to.
No.
That's called a feedback loop, and we'll be stuck, and it won't go anywhere.
I'm personally, I'm a fan of it because
suicide is not one that I can't go down that one. The moment I would say, well, why? I could probably do that, but I wouldn't want to do it here. That would be something I have to experiment for myself. Yeah. Right? And go down that rabbit hole. What about our own? Our own beliefs, our own mothers, if someone challenged us, our own religions. Okay. Why are we threatened by it? How about that? Wouldn't you think that that's kind of like the sensation, the emotion that we experience when we're questioning, when we think it's plausible, as you said? Mm-hmm. Why?
Why do we question it whenever we think it's plausible?
Yeah, why do we feel threatened by something?
We're afraid of the epiphany.
Okay.
I think even sometimes I get afraid of my own epiphany, and I try to avoid that epiphany. I didn't expect that.
Like you're afraid to go any deeper because you may realize?
Yes. We don't want our eyes open.
I didn't even think about that.
Who wants their eyes open?
I have to think about that. No, I know. It's terrifying for people.
Sometimes you do better whenever you sleep.
That one took a fork I didn't expect. Okay. I can deal with that.
You ever had a good dream and woken up?
Yeah. Good point. I since you went down that way, I'll go down my way. And so okay. I think I would like to say I know, but that would sound arrogant.
Right?
I don't want to sound arrogant, but I'm pretty sure I know
I feel
why.
The same way about
I'm pretty sure I know why people feel threatened.
Okay.
When it comes to religion or their relationship or their team or whatever it is they believe in. That word.
Yeah.
Believe. To believe.
We had this discussion back
in
did
Toots.
We? Yes.
Oh.
And so you made me like really think about it whenever I was driving home.
What does it mean to believe? Like this is something that really was like my epiphany.
And then I told you, I was like,
hold on. That was, what did you say? Your word? Was it epiphany? No, what was your word?
Epiphany.
Okay, well, I had my epiphany.
Yeah.
Because I realized what it was to believe.
Which is, I was too buzzed. I do remember
to believe
vaguely,
in something.
Completely.
The only way you can believe in something is to have faith.
That's what it was, and I was like,
to accept it.
And then I was like, faith and
hope,
faith and belief are synonymous. You're like, no,
yeah.
Not.
Well, the only way to believe is to have faith.
So
you have to have faith. And all my life, religion was all founded in faith. You talk about your faith. Your faith was challenged. You have to have faith. We're told these things. We must have faith. Okay. Well, why? Well, I know why. In order to believe.
Yeah.
To believe in something requires faith. And I didn't like that. I did not like that. I was like, you want me to believe in something on blind faith? Because that's what it is. Because none of this makes sense to me. Everything this human being is telling me didn't quite make sense. Your interpretation did not really make sense to me. My logical brain said, nope, I don't. Whether it was we was talking about religion or relationships or whatever some school teacher or parent was trying to tell me, if it did not make sense logically to me, I rejected it and said, I just nod and act like they didn't say it, and I'd move on with my life. But here's what happened to me.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, I want to hear you now, because since we're on track.
Some things that you believe, kind of like if somebody else says something, and we just have this discussion, but somebody else says something that you just really want them to know may not be as true as they think it is. Me personally, if somebody is like, oh, the sky is purple and it's clearly blue, I have a hard time. That's just an example, by the way. Just not telling them the truth. I enjoy telling
that's our ego.
The truth of what I see.
I see that as because I've struggled from this most of my life. I always going to want to give people the answers. And for me, personally, and I can only speak on behalf of myself, I realized why I did that. Because I would say, do you know what this means? And if they didn't answer in 3 seconds, I would give them the answer. You get what I'm saying? Like I'd ask a question that I knew the answer to just so I could stump them and give them the answer. And it was like a way for me to show that I was smart, right?
Yeah.
And I realized, that's my ego. That's my insecurities. That's my way of trying to feel accepted and feel better about myself. And so I've really tried to practice.
But what if it's not?
Well, I don't know, but I think it is.
Well, maybe for you, but for me, I've dissected myself at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is what it is for me, at least. Maybe sometimes.
And that's why I say it's for me.
Sometimes I got to prove my point, for my ego. But for this one, I really want to ask you a question.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear it.
I really do. What if dinosaurs walked with man? And what if we didn't come from apes?
See, I don't think we did come from apes. Just so you know.
Okay.
I think we're just related. I don't think I came from my cousin, right?
Okay.
Right? They were just a close relative.
Yeah.
Is the way I look at it. So what if we did not come from apes, and what if man walked with dinosaurs? Mm-hmm. I would be completely open to that. I have no issues with that whatsoever. Completely plausible.
I think you would want to hear this because it opened my eyes up probably about 2 years ago. This is what opened my eyes up and really made me think. It kept me up at night. So there's two sides to science. There is an atheistic viewpoint on it, and then there's a creation view on it. Okay, and sometimes you can mix those two together, and those are people that are pretty much neutral scientists.
I think I'm in the middle. I think I'm neutral.
Right.
Balanced.
Okay. Right.
That thing.
You're kind of like open to hear
whatever makes sense.
You want to hear both sides.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
then
biased.
You'll waver it out.
Yeah, I'm not biased at all. I love to learn.
I do too.
And if you're biased, it's incapable. You're incapable of learning efficiently if you're very biased. Mm-hmm. So I really focus on. I love being wrong.
You just want to stand. I see what you. I feel like I see what you. I'm not like in your head, but I feel like you just want to hear as much. You're an ENTP for sure. You just want to hear as much as you can before you even jump to conclusions. You're just like, let me. What else do you have to hear now? What do you have to say now? What do you have to say now?
It's funny because I'm usually like right now. It's rare that someone brings something up that I haven't already really focused on tremendous amount of hours. Like I've kind of been down the gauntlet. So when someone asks me a question, I'm like, oh yeah, let's hear more. Because I haven't thought about it. So that's why I'm excited to hear what you have to say. Because most things I've probably pondered on. Sadly, I've fucked up in that way.
So have you pondered on the idea that humans were literally created in 6 days? Have you pondered?
So I read Genesis about
created
5-6 years ago, and I really struggled. This is bullshit. Like I really struggled with it But I've honestly taken a different approach to the Bible.
Okay.
So, well, and I got to tell you, the reason why I see the Bible differently now is because I've done so much research on psychedelics. Mm-hmm. And I've never done one, but I do understand.
Same.
Okay, so dimethyltryptamine, and,
Yep.
I understand
DMT.
that we have a limited, we have a limited understanding of vocabulary and experiences and colors and all these things. So
Extracted through the pineal gland.
So I started thinking, well, who wrote the Bible? Man, influenced by God. Okay, my entire life, I struggled with the Bible because I knew at a very young age, I would say in my teens, I had come to the conclusion that it wasn't man-made in my teens. I knew that it had to be something higher, bigger, more influential. But I couldn't get any further than that, so I just left it alone. And then probably through my 20s, I think I was almost an atheist, where it was a very dark time for me. It was really challenging. Yeah. And I thought, God, this sucks when it, like death is before birth. Death would be equal to the idea of before I ever existed. It's not like I closed my eye. Like, it was complicated, and I was trying to really understand what death would be like. So, okay, I'm trying to tell you how I got there. So I went through the process of thinking, are you an atheist? Because I'm not sure I believe. Yeah. Because belief required faith, and I didn't have faith because none of it made sense. But I started making huge, discoveries through learning about human experience, science of psychedelics. And hearing about the individual's experience, and I started realizing, they would come back and they would describe with the basic vocabulary that they had, because the words did not exist.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, and so they would try to describe these elves and machine elves and these things, and they met God, and it was like, but there was no words to describe it. There were no colors that existed, and I thought, oh shit, that's what the Bible is. The Bible is man's interpretation of something they don't have a vocabulary for. So when they say, imagine it would be streets of gold. Mm-hmm. Imagine it would be rows of mansions. No, that's man-made. They're trying, and when I read that originally, it bothered me because I thought, well, those are man-made desires. But no, they were trying to give you a point of reference.
Okay.
I think the whoever wrote the Bible, these individuals, Matthew, Mark, Luke, all these people, tried to write it on behalf of an experience, to give you a point of reference. Otherwise, it sounded like nonsense, right?
Okay.
So when I realized that was when I backed up and I started looking into it again. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of stay away from the Bible a little bit.
I got to use the restroom.
Go ahead.
I'm going to come back. We got to talk about this.
Okay, go ahead.
We got to talk about this.
This is good.
You're going to like this, what I have to say.
I'm excited to hear it. Once I started realizing, oh shit, the Bible's real. I like cussing, and I like who I am. I love my life. And and I'm thinking, oh God, if it's all real, then that means I have to start serving. And I have too much going on right now to dedicate my life to a church. And right, anyways, it kind of freaked me out, and I just kind of pulled away even more. So that's where I'm at with religion right now. It's like, oh shit, I think it's real. Okay, and it scared me a little bit, you know.
Now this is what's really gonna blow your mind.
Okay.
Hopefully, you just gotta let me get all the way through it because. Okay, so, and this is new for me. This is new for me. I've been in this for like a year now, about a year total. So, one of the most popular, not popular, influential scientists is a guy named James Tolle. And you know how you hear about science and they're like, oh yeah, we figured this out, and we know how humans got here and all this. Now, James Tolle is actually he's one of those guys in the labs. Whenever he talks, it sounds he sounds like he's speaking another language because all the words that he's using. Now, this guy has, like I said, he's already been voted as one of the most influential scientists, not by popularity, but by what he's done, like the research that he's done. And, it's crazy whenever you hear him say, we have no idea how we got here. And he studies abiogenesis. What's it called? Abiogenesis, synthetic biogenesis, or whatever. That's pretty much the start of life. That's what that means. Like,
Don't know nothing about it.
okay, synthetic is like, I think.
I know what synthetic means. Okay. Man-made, but
yeah. So they're trying to start life again.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, we've done everything we can.
They can't replicate it.
They can't do it. They can't, no matter what. And for somebody to say, oh, it did it by accident. That's what they did in the 1700s whenever they really started coming up with, in the 1800s really, whenever they started coming up with evolution, right? With Darwin. You know about Charles Darwin?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Whenever they started coming up with that, there was like, oh, yeah, this is simple. You can just get a few things, a little electricity.
It's a little arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't challenge nature at all.
Nature
can do whatever it wants because because time is irrelevant. Time is only relevant to man.
Nature's all there is.
But you realize we're the only thing that's alive that gives a shit about time. Like, time doesn't exist for any other species. It doesn't really care. Like,
right.
Some insects live a day. Like, their whole existence is a day. Right? And for it might as well have been 100 years because that's all it knows. That's what's relative to it. But because we're such fucking curious things, we put dates and...
Okay.
So I don't know, man.
So you're telling me time doesn't exist?
No.
So you can freeze it. You can do whatever you want with it.
It doesn't exist. So
it doesn't exist.
You can't do anything to it because it doesn't exist. Only to a human being it exists.
Can you make it not exist then?
No, because it doesn't exist. I can't do anything. It's neither here nor there. Right?
Then why do you use it?
Because it helps us function in a society. I'm saying we're the only thing that cares about it. But I've never really thought about this until in this very moment, the words that I'm speaking is the first time I've ever said time is irrelevant because we're the only fucking species that's ever cared.
How can you use something? Give me one example of something that you've used that doesn't exist.
It exists to us in a matter of function. You know what I mean? To help us feel special because we're so egotistical. We're driven by ego. And that's something that I think, is why we ask why. I think that if God gave us anything to make us different than every other fucking plant, animal, being, is we have something called an ego. Or we have identified it as an ego and describe it as an ego. This thing that generates desire. And desire manifests passion. It drives, you know what I mean? And that's what makes us special. So...
Now, you've made me think this entire time.
Okay. You're making me think, too.
So if you're telling me that...
I don't think time is real.
You think. Now, thinking, do you believe that time's not real or do you know time's not real? Something like that.
I would say I know time is irrelevant to everything but human beings.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that anything else cares.
How do you know that? Do you know that? I gotta get you like you got me.
That's good. I mean, do I know? Because that's where it goes back to faith, believe, and know. So those three go, like that's where we were going earlier.
Do you feed your dogs at the same?
No.
You don't?
No.
Well, I did.
When they come up to me and they start annoying me, I realize, oh, they want something, which is only water or food.
That they've had.
I don't know when they get fed.
Once upon a time.
Are you trying to say?
And they know that you gave it to them and that you can supply it.
Now that I think about it, time existed in the Bible on the 6th day. Okay, so time is relevant to man, but man's... it's hard. This is hard. So I don't think... Okay. I mean, this is hard.
Maybe it's hard because it's...
I've never thought about it. And I've never thought about it because I think it's irrelevant. I think time is irrelevant to what matters. And I think that the past does not exist. I do not think the future exists. I think the only thing that's real is this conversation right here. The words that are literally being spoken out of my mouth and the words that you speak. I think that's all that's real. Now. I think that's all that's real. And that's from a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's when I kind of understood what that was. And it was like an epiphany for me. And I thought, oh, yeah, he's right. There is no
I almost
future.
had one
There's
right there. That's why I stopped. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, there's nothing that's real other than now. Like we measure time.
What would you say all those fossils?
We think we're important. What do I think about fossils?
What do you think? What do you think that those just got there and you're looking at them?
No, I think they're just there. But as far as time, if I wanted to say, well, the sun went around, the Earth went around the sun. I almost say I'm so narcissistic that I thought the sun went around us. Narcissistic because we think the world goes around us. Everyone thinks everything revolves around them. So,
but you said went, which is past tense.
Yeah. There was time. Yeah. I see what you're saying. You're trying to corner me, though.
I got to.
And I don't know if I can be.
Uh-oh.
I don't feel influenced. I can tell you that. I think it's interesting.
Okay.
I don't know that it's relevant. And I can tell you this. My brain has a gift. It only questions the things that it thinks it can understand.
Okay.
So time is something. God, don't question that. Don't question time. Don't question what ifs and how to's and maybes. I just don't. I realize my time.
Okay.
My time, which is irrelevant, I guess, is best focused on the things that I can directly affect. And I don't know time, man. Fuck. Where are we going with this?
Really and truly, I just want to stay on the topic with
You're trying to make me uncomfortable, I think.
No, it's a little fun whenever you can make somebody. But I'm not trying to make.
Yeah, because I'm usually never pinched. I never really feel pinched, but I do right now. But I'm not worried about time. I don't worry. Matter of fact, I love the word worry.
Is it because I question your belief?
No, I don't have a belief in that.
Oh, you know.
Because I know.
Oh, I hate you. Oh, man, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, you know what's funny is I'd already came to this conclusion on my own. Have you ever read a book and thought, oh, okay, I got something from that? But have you ever read a book and thought, oh, fuck, they know what they're talking. This is right. Right?
Yeah.
Because you already knew it. It's like confirmation. Like you'd already come to this conclusion on your own. So I was listening to an interview. I was watching, actually, an interview of Carl Jung. And he was being asked, and I think I've brought this up on this podcast, I'm not sure, but he was being asked about his family and were they religious? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. My family's from the Middle Ages and yada, yada. We go to church and yada, yada. He's like, oh, so you were religious? He said, yes. He said, oh, so you believed in God? Yes, of course I believed in God. And then he said, do you still believe in God? He goes, oh, no, I cannot. I think I've told you this.
Yeah.
He goes,
yep, here it goes.
I cannot because I know. And when he said I know, it was like this defining moment for me in my life. I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Once you know something, you can no longer believe in it because to believe requires faith. And that was it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's when you're not threatened ever again in your life, in business, in relationships, in whatever, religion. The moment you know something, you'll feel sorry for them. If someone tries to like bombard you and convince you, just like you shrug and say, look, I'm not going to try to convince you. Good luck. I do wish you the best and I hope you find peace. When you're speaking this way, it's because you know. You don't have faith anymore. You just know. And so however you get there, good for you. Good for you. Because that's peace, man. Once you know, it's like, oh, good. And the only way you can know is by asking why. And so unless you practice that, then you're going to be living a life of faith, which is scary as shit, which is why everybody in the world's arguing and fighting. And there's a church of Christ. There's a church of this. There's a church of that. Shit, man. If you guys just talked and we all just communicated, we'd all kind of come together and just start agreeing a little bit more. But everybody's so threatened.
Exactly. Which is what I was saying. Like, people are threatened because a lot of people have threatened. Whenever I was growing up with Jehovah's Witness, a lot of people had questioned. Like, I questioned it.
You just described every religion on the planet. That's why I despise religion.
And
religion is man-made. Yeah. Man-made, driven by ego, driven by faith. And that's why I just don't like religion. At all.
Now, whenever you say religion,
I think it's man-made.
you think that laws are man-made?
Oh, never. Yeah. I think. I mean, off the top of my head, it was the first question you asked me.
Or do you think that man?
I think it's all founded from the Bible. Every religion. The Bible was the first book that was ever printed. Mm-hmm. There's no information that's existed longer than the Bible. I don't give a shit what religion you are. It was the first book that was ever written. It was the first book ever mass-produced by pen. So I think that everything that we know, law-wise, life-wise, was some development from the Bible. So, do I believe in laws or whether or not they were man-made? Shit. Maybe influenced by God. And I'm not a religious person. I always say I'm not a religious person. I'm not. I despise religion.
So why doesn't the sun just burn? Like, why does the sun always there?
I don't ask those questions.
You don't ask why?
No. Yes, I ask why, but the moment I say, oh, there's no answer to that, move on. My ego's not that big.
Or are you avoiding the true answer, which is...
I would have to have faith.
Laws exist.
Well...
And it wasn't created by...
Laws of physics?
Law. That's a law.
Okay, yeah. Yo, I could accept those laws quicker.
Who created them?
I don't know about who.
Law is data.
You're trying to corner me. And
I'm not trying to...
I don't feel threatened, I can tell you that. When I say feel, I don't feel threatened. At the moment I hear that, I tune out and say, oh, I can't even have that discussion. There's no answer. It would just be a feedback loop. We'd just sit here and go on and on and on.
Well, just give me one answer and I won't go on and on.
Okay. Answer about what?
Why? Okay. How about this? Why are we sticking to the ground right now? Why are we not just floating around in space?
Shit. Okay. These are questions that I don't ask. Einstein did that. Theory of relativity and all these things, and whether or not gravity exists or is space pushing us to the planet or whatever it was he said.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, these are things that I've researched, but nobody knows. Nobody knows if Einstein was right. Is there space fabric that's pressing us to the planet? Like, nobody knows.
It's okay. But we are sticking to the ground. Do you think that there's something that we have no choice but to abide? And if we don't...
Yes. No, I agree with that. We don't have a choice.
Okay.
No, I don't think we have a choice.
Would you say that's a law?
A law of physics.
But you don't believe... You believe that laws
are man-made.
Man-made. So...
It's observable is what I think laws are. I think laws, now that I think about it, laws are something that we observe, or it's a condition that we observe and say, okay, this should be a law. It's unbudgeable. I don't know. I don't have a good vocabulary, so I say it's something that we've observed. This should be a law.
You do have a good vocabulary, by the way.
But most things are theory. You know, most things are theory, AC theory. This electricity is AC theory, although we know everything about it. I could talk about alternating current for days, but it's still called AC theory. You know, most things are theory.
Because you can't really know.
Yeah, I guess it requires faith.
It does.
And that's what I love about theories. It does require faith. But laws, I guess to our observable universe, we just accept things. And you know what I love about humans? We asked why enough that we got to first principles so effing fast in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we did.
Like, we've only been here for a minute.
Yeah.
We really have. And now I've got friends. I have a friend that thinks that we've only been here 6,000 years. Totally respect that.
You know what's funny?
You probably do too.
I'm one of those guys.
I know. It's funny. No. It's the reason why I brought it up is because I actually have a friend that...
He might be.
I come from the science side, and he comes from the religious side, and he's always sending me science, religious stuff that like backs. It's really brilliant. Like some of it really kind of wowed me.
Have you looked at the behemoth? Have you heard about behemoth?
I can only take so much because it's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. Like he's been on this journey for years.
Yeah,
Jeremy, you know who you are. He and I decided to do a podcast together. We don't know what we're going to call it. But it's very similar to this, which I love. He loves science.
Yeah.
As much as I love religion. and vice versa. I love science as much as he loves religion.
Okay, so he loves
right?
Okay.
It's the 80-20. It's the Pareto's principles.
Gotcha.
Basically, 80-20.
Yeah, we talked about this too.
Yeah, and I think is a really good balance, right? I think it's all about balance. And I think it will, if anything, I think we will both learn and be open-minded. Like, I have a horrible vocabulary when it comes to my language.
Yeah.
I really rely on my vocabulary and profanity. I love it. I love it because it's all man-made. You know what I mean?
It's just a word. It's just a sound.
Shit.
It's just
Damn.
a sound.
Oh my God, it's a sound. And because human beings are so shallow that we put so much emphasis on a word that has no value. And I see all these humans running around putting value in something that just sounds funny to me.
It's a vibration.
Right? Yeah.
Vibration.
So it didn't faze you at all.
No.
Profanity doesn't. Yeah.
No.
I don't think it. I think open-minded people, even if you're religious or not, no, it doesn't. Now, where I would tell my sons, and what's funny is they don't use profanity because they think it sounds cringy because I use it so much. I would be like, son, don't say it in front of people, right? Because it is offensive
to some people.
Yeah,
for sure.
But if you're on this podcast and you're offended by my profanity, then we just, let's say you're not prepared for me yet.
Yeah.
If you're that close-minded,
it's not for you.
Exactly.
Wouldn't be. Yeah. I get it.
I feel like I've evolved past a few words that were man-made. Anyways, that have no value.
I really agree. But I got to tell you about this.
Go ahead. Tell me. What do you got?
So the Bible clearly teaches. It to me.
Clearly.
To me, it clearly teaches. And it's, to me, it's clear, but not to everybody else. But it clearly teaches that the earth was created in 6 days. 7 days, to be exact. But the things that confirm it, you said that he looks at it more on the biblical side, and you look at it more on the scientific side. But what he's actually doing is he's looking at the Bible and seeing if the science confirms. Mm-hmm. And once the science confirms, he's like, oh, okay, it's true. What he's reading, he can look outside and be like, oh, okay, it's true. Instead of going off of what he sees. Because it's very easy to see, like, oh, wow, we're dying. There's cancer. There's diseases. There can't be a God.
I think death is so important. I think death
gets you out of it.
Equally important as life.
I think that death gets you out of it.
I think death is equal to life. To birth. Equal. And just as important, in my mind. So, no, I have no problem with death.
I haven't gotten to that point.
I love it. I love the idea of death. Well, fuck, we'd be overpopulated in a minute if death didn't exist. You know what I mean? It's balance. It's harmony. I love harmony. And I won't speak on behalf of my friends. I don't know. Whatever they use, but I can tell you they are happy and comfortable. So good for them. And so am I. I'm good.
You're good on it?
Mm-hmm. I feel pretty good. I don't want to become... I don't ever want to become religious. I despise the idea of religion. It's an idea to me.
What about... not so much religion. I don't think you have to be...
I like the Bible.
Religion. But, okay, so...
Well, religion is a tribe. Mm-hmm. It's this... You have to identify as this and agree with this. Otherwise, people look at you funny. Oh, you believe in that? Right? Not just human ego. Yeah. And I fucking hate that. I hate that about humans, and I can't wait till we evolve or not evolve. And you know what? My friend would say I hate that word. He hates the word evolve.
The one that believes in 6,000 years?
Yeah. But I say, well, then transcend. I feel like I am transcending these ideas, these man-made ideas.
Yeah.
And, and I hope that I think that's our purpose here on Earth is to transcend these minuscule, nonsensical, backwards ways of thinking. Oh, you think that way? Well, good for you. Good luck. Fuck you. Let me think my way.
Yeah.
Like, it's the goddamn judgment behind everything. That's the ego. That's insecurity. That's a beta-minded human being. A beta-minded human being that thinks you should think another way. That's ridiculous. Like, that's beta-minded. To think that I know what's best for you is beta-minded, right? That's a very weak, desperate, insecure way of seeing things. To think that I know what's best for another human being is scary to me.
It's taking me a little bit longer to process.
Okay, well, it's like conforming. To conform,
Yeah.
it's okay to conform. We conform to ideas, we conform to rules, we conform to laws. But to be conformist is to think that I believe I should do something, therefore you should too, is a conformist. And I'm terrified of anyone that thinks they know what's best for me.
Yeah.
That's where the world, that's how we end up with the Holocaust, and that's where all these, every horrible thing that's ever happened in life was because of that.
Now, well, you got me on this belief and no thing, but do you, I have to say no. Do you know the reason why Hitler did that?
Do I know the reason?
Besides him being a lunatic?
I think I've thought about it. No, I don't think he was a lunatic.
He was trying to, he believed in, number one, he believed in evolution, for sure. That was a fact. He even said that. He said, we're trying to evolve the whites with blonde hair, blue eyes are evolving. But he actually got that from secular scientists that believed in evolution. There is no God. None of that. So therefore, with you not believing in, which is faith, it's faith-based, with you, because you can't see it, but with you not believing in a God, really, people think that it.
No, I didn't say that.
No, not you. When I say you, I'm not pointing with someone.
Okay, got you.
With someone not believing, having that faith that you were actually created, right? Your eyeballs didn't just make themselves through random processes. Hitler did. So with Hitler thinking that, okay, so we're evolving, what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up the human race. I'm going to speed it up. Let's get rid of the Jews, number one. Let's get rid of the blacks, and let's keep the ones that came last.
The dominant race is what he wanted. Yeah,
he wanted the dominant race because he thought that we're evolving, we're getting better. But unfortunately, he was wrong, and that was Fortunately, he was wrong.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Don't break me apart.
No, it's we have a limited vocabulary. We had one or the other, and it just sucks that it's one or the other.
And it's habitual to say habitual. To say unfortunately. I don't know why.
No.
But and when you backtrack these cases of homicide, right, of genocide, actually, almost like genocide. Like when you look at Columbine, the guy walks in with natural selection on his shirt and asking people, "Do you believe in God?" No, boom, killed him.
See, I think about all these things.
Yeah,
and I think I know how they got there.
I think it comes down to you have no hope. Whenever you extract God out, whenever you take the fact that you were created out, you have no hope. And this is why we see crime rates are skyrocketing.
I agree.
Especially in America. They're skyrocketing because they have no hope. I do believe that.
Well,
believe.
Okay. Well, these are things that I've thought a lot about. And I compare Jesus Christ and Hitler and Charles Manson and Stalin and Lenin and Mao. And I compare all these people. And I even threw Jesus Christ in there, along with these lunatics. And they are lunatics, every one of them. They became lunatics. And we could find out how that happened by asking why. And I think I have came to some conclusions that make sense to me. Cognitive dissonance, number one.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, so it's the ability. So it would begin with denial. So denial is the ability to lie to yourself. And that's scary. Because if you can lie to yourself, then fuck, you're no good to anybody. So cognitive dissonance is people that believe in something they should not believe in. The facts are everywhere.
Okay.
So they can believe in two things at once. Okay. They can believe in this and defend that. And so we see it everywhere. Everywhere you look is cognitive dissonance. So it's like, what would be some good, easy examples? But it's ultimately, and I'm kind of drawing a blank right now, but cognitive dissonance is believing in something and then denying it at the same time. And it literally is everywhere. But it comes from denial.
Like a contradiction in your own belief?
Well, it's because you're being challenged and you'll defend it, right? Comes back to faith because they rely on faith because they don't ask why. Yeah. They're afraid to ask why, or they're not taught to ask why. And why? And it goes back to parents. Like, I believe the root cause to every fucking problem in the world goes down to parents. Like, parents put out
the foundation.
Offspring. Yeah.
They put the foundation down for that
and they say this because I'll tell you why. Because we got goddamn egos. It goes back to the fucking ego. The human ego, I think, is the greatest thing that's ever existed and the worst thing that ever existed. It's balance. It's that fucking thing right there. And if you wonder what I'm looking at, it's yin yang. So I think the human ego is the thing that builds cities, and it's the same thing that tears them to the ground. That's a human ego. Love the human ego is what draws a spouse in and pushes them away. Okay? And it's that balance between those things that God or whatever it is, and I think it is God. I don't want to take that away because I do believe there is a God. I don't fully understand it. I don't question it. I don't even think about it too much because the only thing I realized was, oh shit, there's a God. I'll just stop there. How about that? Because I couldn't go any further. It scared the shit out of me to even question that. I would have to be on some insane psychedelic to even ponder that. So it just scared me so much I stopped.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Like I said in the beginning. So it scared you because
my brain couldn't, I would have a meltdown.
Were you afraid?
No.
Not afraid. Well, yeah.
I was afraid of being trapped in my brain. I was afraid my fucking brain would trap me.
I'm scared of that too. That's why I don't do psychedelics.
I was terrified of where it would leave me.
Yeah.
So I thought it was irresponsible, right? And that's the reason why I don't question some things. I thought, oh, that's not going to end well. That's not for me. I have a limited vocabulary. I have a limited imagination. I have a limited of access to knowledge, information. So let's just stop there. Let's worry about the things that I can have a positive influence on and move on. So how did I get there to say that? How did I get there? I got there with cognitive dissonance. I was on a roll there. Religion,
it was probably
ego.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So the human ego is the thing that builds us up and tears us down. The human ego in a parent, and we talked about this earlier, is a parent is afraid to admit, I don't know, because they're afraid to admit to this thing that they're not a hero. They felt like a hero for the first time in their life, and they don't want to give that up. And it breaks my heart because the greatest thing you can do to a child is say, I'm not sure, let's figure it out together. Like, that's the greatest gift you could give a child, and we're just in this bad cycle of denial. We're in denial. Human beings are trying. So what is denial? What is denial? It is the ability to protect your ego. That's what denial is. The ability to protect your ego, to admit I am unworthy, to admit I am not. Well,
I'm wrong.
I'm worthy. Yeah, I'm not worthy. and God dang it, that was where I became free. Was when I knew. I don't believe. I don't need faith. I know for a fact I am unworthy. I know for a fact I know nothing. Once I got to peek behind the curtain of reality is when I realized, oh, I'm fucked. I know nothing. I know nothing.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of opened my eyes, and that's when I became vulnerable. And I do not mind admitting to all my flaws. Matter of fact, I run towards them. I am on a fucking fast track to focusing on everything that scares me the most. And that's how I got here.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think that means I am becoming the best version of me possible. Makes me happy. Makes me truly, truly happy. Yep. That's why I'd go up and hit you on the shoulder or whatever. I don't even remember doing it, but
you used to not be that guy.
I became. No, I don't know. I don't know, but I love everyone. I love everyone.
Yeah.
I feel so much love for the humans. Well, for fucking bugs, for God's sakes. Like, I have a hard time. Like, that's his entire existence. It might live a week. Like, a week, maybe his entire life. Maybe equal to my 100 years that I'm going to live. And I have a hard time smashing it now. It's like I've became connected.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But I got lucky. I can tell you that.
You think you're
lucky?
You think you're starting to like realize
I'm not special.
Yeah.
I'm not special. That's what I also realized. I am not special. I am not gifted. I am lucky.
You're realizing that you're not special.
Oh, I am realizing I am lucky as fuck to have had some epiphany that made me realize I'm a fucking idiot. That made me realize the sun doesn't revolve around me. Yeah. You know, that I'm scared.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Do you think you could have gotten where you're at thinking like that?
I don't know how I got here. I would like to be able to track it back. I don't know if I could. Most people get here through psychedelics. Most people get here through ayahuasca, DMT, mushrooms.
Mushrooms, for sure.
Yeah. And I've never done any of them. I just researched them a lot, and I can connect with these people.
But you probably release a lot of like DMT while you're sleeping. You might be one of those people.
Apparently,
you might be. I mean, you might be one of those people that can.
I actually think I know why I'm this way.
Yeah.
Because I quit school in the 4th grade. I swear to on the Bible.
What?
Miss Lusk's class. I was in the 4th grade. It was a math test, and I realized this is dumb, and I am dumb, and I'm too dumb to take this test.
Wait.
Yeah, it was the 4th grade, so I didn't drop out of school.
Okay.
I just quit doing the education system. In the 4th grade, I never opened another book. I never read a book in my entire life until I was in my late 20s. First book I ever really read, was Velocity by Dean Koontz. It was a yellow paperback book my friend Nathan Lowry gave me. It was the first book I ever read. And I was probably 27, 28 years old. And I thought I was stupid up into my almost 30s. Like at my 28 to 30 was when I started realizing, oh, I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. I'm done with the education. You know what I mean? And then I've spent the last 20 years of my life figuring out, we learn differently. It's like, what are you excited about? So I got lucky.
That's an amazing story. Just to hear that you really just said, I'm done with school. At the 4th grade.
In the 4th grade, Miss Lusk's class, I remember I realized I could cheat. Like my eyes, I could stare over to her A, and then I was like, I'll skip that one.
Yeah.
Like I just got really good at it. And I never looked back. And graduated with a 1.7 GPA. And I cheated to get that.
It didn't matter to you. You were looking for something different. I think,
and it wasn't. A lot of people tell that story and they realize they were special. They realized they were gifted, and they realized they were bored. No, I thought I was fucking stupid. I thought, well, I'm good at mechanicking. I'm good at electricity. I'm good at like hands-on things. That's what I'm good at, and so I'll focus on that. And I work for my parents, is what I thought. And it was, just my wife. My wife helped me a lot. She's like, no, you're not dumb. And then I started taking tests. I started taking like IQ tests. Yeah. And these placement tests, and I realized
you scored high.
Yes, like incredibly high. And I thought, well, that was a fluke. Let's do another one.
You 140s guy.
I just kept scoring better and better and better, and no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't tell you either way.
Okay.
It was amazing to me. I'll tell you that.
That's lit.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind, and I thought, okay, I'm not dumb. I'm just not built for the system. And then, but I focused on the system, and I realized, well, the system's important. The system's trying to feed 7.5 billion people.
The system is what makes this. But you got to
understand. Yeah, you're right. It's balanced. The system may be balanced.
Who you are. Yeah, exactly.
Because we shouldn't all be this way.
Like you said.
We should not all be this way. We can't all be entrepreneurs. It wouldn't be very efficient.
And you know what's funny, man? And I kind of need you, because I don't have a father anymore. I kind of need you to be like, I judge you. I have no other way but to judge you off like 3 things, right? What you have, what you've done, and what you tell me.
You should judge me off my sons.
That is very true. And that, oh God, you sound like my, dude. Because success produces success.
Yeah, yeah. I realized this. I had this moment. I was like, you know what? If I'm remembered for anything, it's what I've produced in the world with my sons. Yeah. Like, judge me by my sons' behaviors. If they're fuck ups, then their dad was a fuck up. That's the way I see it. And
a lot of times. I don't know if that's every time, though. I don't know if that's every time.
I don't think it was intentional, but I think it was what it was. It was just, our egos are too big to admit we don't know.
Look at Ben Frank, though.
Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin, yeah.
Benjamin Franklin?
He grew up poor.
It's okay. Poor's good.
Poor is good. That's good.
Poor's an advantage.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the kids in my neighborhood.
Who?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them are fucked.
I was driving here. I was like, you know what?
I hate that my kids live here. And so,
I was going to say that to you. I was
no,
like, man,
it's not good, so I don't give them anything.
my dad did that to me, and I was the youngest, right?
Yep.
So I was the youngest. My dad let me do anything I wanted. He did. One thing my dad was good at is being, he never told me a lot. He never told me something that he wish he would have done. He told me things that he has done and that he would do at that time in his life. Mm-hmm. If he could change what he's doing right now, he was telling me what he was, who he was right now, not who he was whenever he was like 19. Mm-hmm. Hey, do this, go this, do all you can with girls. You know what I mean? Do whatever you want. He was telling me things like, yeah, if you go out, and this is my dad's beliefs, and every man is probably gonna have different beliefs. He's like, man, look, if you go out and you're gonna have sex with a bunch of women, you're gonna have a baby. With you having a baby, you're gonna have to pay child support. And with you having to pay child support, it's going to be very difficult for you to live off of your little 60% income, which it's already going to be hard in the first place if you are living off 100% of your income. You know what I mean? He was telling me these things. You know,
I like it. Go ahead. Keep going.
Off of what he's seen. It's not off, you know what I mean? If he was a billionaire,
like
who cares? Who cares? You're a billionaire.
Okay.
But he wasn't that. He wasn't that guy. But he was just, that's just a pointer of one of the things that he told me. But he was also giving me like philosophy, man. Like you got to be willing to do what other people aren't willing to do to get what they will most likely never have. You got to be willing to take that extra, because most of society will go the normal route that they're told. Mm-hmm. Go to work, go to college, get a job, this, that, then third. My dad was also an entrepreneur as well. Mm-hmm. He built his business. Right now, I'm running one of his businesses right now. I didn't tell you that, but I also run a food truck, D&B Famous Hot Dogs, right here in Murfreesboro.
Oh my God, I want to hear more. But there's so much you just said I got to unpack.
Go ahead, break it down if you want to, man.
No, honestly. I want to say this because human beings. What I love about a human being, God, my favorite thing about a human being, male, female, child, woman, man, doesn't matter. We are at our best when there is a challenge, right? When there is catastrophe.
Backs against the wall, kind of.
Yeah. A 7-month-old child, right? You have a 7-month-old, right? Yeah. That's such an advantage. Like, everybody looks at COVID and they say, oh my God, COVID, look at all the damage. Man, I work from home. Like, do you know how many people work from home now? Because we take something, we take something and we say, okay, this sucks, let's fix it. You could blow us up today. Like, the best thing that could ever happen to the United States is a nuclear bomb. Wipe out 100 million people. I don't want to see that happen. I'm saying what would happen is something amazing and prosperous. 9/11 happened. Something amazing happened from it. Too bad people took advantage of that. But you look at Japan, right? Yeah. Japan was just this country that got bombed and then became the greatest steel auto manufacturer in the world. Like we it's human instinct to overcome controversy and challenges and pain, and it's where we're in our best is when we're suffering the most. And it's like, okay, because we don't have a choice. Yeah. I noticed this. It's like this. When you offer a child, when you fix your dinner at night and you put your plates out and you ask the kid, do you want water or milk? The child will say, tea. Because human beings do not do well with choices. Give us no choices and we will conquer. Every fucking time.
That is awesome. I like that.
Do not give us a choice and we will conquer you. Yeah. But as long as we have a choice, we'll kind of conform and we'll do what we got to do to manipulate and get around it. But man, we're amazing when we don't have a choice. And so that's what I love about humans is that we just overcome better than any other species on the planet. And
whenever your back is against the wall, or against the ropes,
the ropes, Well, you don't have a choice.
Whenever you're cornered,
that's no choice.
You will see. You just take a dog, for instance. Mm-hmm. You will see, corner a dog.
No choice.
Corner a dog and see how that coward dog that you thought was a coward.
Well, there's two choices: fight, flight.
Fight, flight. Yeah.
Will it lay down and let you eat it, or will it attack?
Flight, or freeze. That's actually an anxiety term, by the way.
Yeah, well, I think that's almost freeze and flight is one and the same.
Yeah.
Like if it can run, then it would freeze. Whatever animal would run would also freeze.
What I'm saying there is
Does that make sense?
Very few, yes, because very few people freeze. They may be in where they're at for
100% of the time.
Wherever they're at the moment, maybe temporary, but very few people freeze. And that freeze is what you see. And I hate to say it because I'm not against it. Okay, right? So, but that freeze is what you see whenever you see people that are homeless for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Trust me, if you only knew what I just went through,
they didn't fight.
The last couple weeks.
They didn't fight. They froze.
In my family, if you could see what I just experienced, pretty incredible. Anyways, I don't want to share.
You're not the only one.
Only because it would be disrespectful to family members of mine.
Yeah.
So, but I short-term gains, baby. Short-term gains is how you get there. Anyways, one thing that you were just saying. 1 second.
Yeah.
You were talking about something important
Short-term
that made me short. No. You were just talking about something else that made me. Sorry,
you said fight, flight, freeze. I was talking about freezing, where people just don't know what to do. They just accept. They're just like, I'm frozen. I'm going to be in this situation forever.
Oh, I got it. I got it. I was thinking about you actually. And you were talking about looking for direction. You didn't say direction, but father. You lost your dad, and I lost my dad recently. And it doesn't matter how old you get. I mean, I don't look back and think, oh, I'm lost without him. It'd just be nice to have him. Because he gave me a pretty good foundation.
I already know.
So did yours.
I already know where I'm going.
Yeah, I can already tell from you.
Yeah.
So, you're not entitled. Okay? I do not feel that you are entitled, which tells me you are going to be successful.
Hope so.
There ain't no fucking hope. There is no hope to being successful. You can't hope that you'll be successful.
You just got to know it.
You just got to go. You say no. It's because at the moment, because hope would be equal to entitlement. Like, oh, it's dependent on someone else or a situation. And if this happens, fuck that.
Yeah.
I manifest motherfucking shit. I speak it into existence.
Yeah. What I say here sometimes doesn't match.
I know.
What's going on?
I know. I think you're being optimistic or being logical or like, oh, you're modest or whatever.
Very modest. I'm not going to sit here and be like, hey, look, I'm the best. I'm going to be a millionaire.
I know that. I know. I think maybe you said that out of modesty. But I think, number one, you're not entitled. And I think entitlement comes from expectations. And I think that expectations comes from being conditioned by someone to let you believe you deserve something that you don't. I think that's where it comes from. I think entitlement comes from expectations. Expectations come from the people around us that have enabled us to believe or conditioned us to believe we deserve something that we don't. Family members, brothers, sisters, friends.
That sounds like pride.
Well,
it runs in very close with pride.
Well, it also comes from parents. Parents feeling guilty, and they give in to this child that misbehaves, and they give them something they don't quite deserve,
like a car.
Yeah, and then they go, "You're not going to fill it up." I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry, daughter. Whatever, right? You get where I'm going. That's how I can get out. That's an extreme version of being entitled.
But what you're
saying,
think
that you deserve something from another human being is entitlement. That's all that means.
Especially as a parent,
whether it's your parent or friend or coworker,
the parent is the one.
Another human being.
The parent is the one, and it sucks because it comes so. You're so used to it because a parent gets used to, you get used to. As a parent, I already know. Like you get used to.
I'm fighting that all the time.
It's a habit. You've gone 15? Let's say 15 years of providing everything. It's a habit to you. 24 years.
My son's 24.
Yeah. Okay. So he's my age. So it becomes a habit to give him You did it for 15 years.
I didn't.
I'm not saying you.
I got lucky. No. Okay. I want to tell you this, is that where I got lucky and the reason why my sons are successful and will continue to be successful is because I gave them nothing. My son is 24 years old. You know how many times he's asked me for anything?
You just sound
the first thing he's ever asked me, he didn't ask me. He went to his mom first. He was 23 at the time, and so the only thing I ever promised my kids, because I understood this very early, this entitlement thing, and I understood that as long as you earn it.
Yeah.
Like my job in life is to emulate real life.
Man,
for my children. To simulate or emulate.
I gotta cut you off. You brought that up too. But you sound like I feel like because you're older, so I feel like I sound like a younger version of you.
You are.
I really do.
I think you were influenced by a very good father.
I say the same thing.
Or a very good mother, or both.
Well, my father messed up whenever he was raising me, and and he really did. I can't
my
say
parents
he's
fucked up
me.
royally, and they also did a great job.
But he realized
that's why actually what parents are doing. They do like some parents do really good, but you've also done really bad. There's no parents that ever got it right.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it right.
As soon as my son gets old enough to do something, because right now he can't do nothing. He can't comprehend me telling him what to do. But as soon as he gets that age, he's going to have to do that. I'm going to set that foundation as early as I can.
Well, I can give you some tricks.
Yeah.
Life is a magic show.
Yeah.
A fucking magic show. Like David Copperfield shit. But it's full of little magic tricks that you can teach everybody.
Yeah.
You know, and that's all I'm trying to do. And I say that a lot. And it sounds like it's redundant. I say it so much. And that's all I'm doing. I'm sharing the little magic tricks of life. And when I realized, the secret is don't give anyone anything other than opportunity. That's it. That's all you can give someone. And if you give them an opportunity, they can prosper from that. That's it. That's it. That's all you can give them. You can't give them wealth. You can't give them. That's why I will not play the lottery. That's why I'm 100% against gambling. Yeah. I'm against it because I don't want the easy win. I don't want the short-term gain. Those are dopamine hits. Those are quick highs that have steep and dramatic lows. So I realized I was very lucky as a kid that because my dad gave me a lot of chances and gave me loans, right? I realized that every shortcut my dad gave me cost me. And when I moved to Chicago and I didn't have my dad to like give me, because I worked for my dad a lot.
My dad gave me loans as well.
Yeah, and I always had to pay him back. My dad never gave me anything that I didn't pay back. But those loans, they stunted my growth. They hurt me more than they helped me. And so when I moved to Chicago and I went broke pretty quick, I prospered like a motherfucker, right? And I realized because I didn't have, I really did good. And even when I came back, I just thought, my job as a parent is to emulate real life. So I told my sons, I will meet you halfway because I don't think it's fair to say, just go make it on your own. I tried to give them hope by saying, okay, if you want a car, whatever car you choose, I'll pay for half. If you want a PlayStation, I'll pay for half. If you want anything other than the clothes on your back, I'll pay for half. And so to this day, whatever my kids want in life, Christmas is small. Our Christmas is like ridiculously small.
But what you're implanting in their head is that you still got to work for it.
Yes. I want them to, because I don't want to take away the gift of achievement. Right? Accomplishing a goal. Because this was the epiphany I had. I was sitting there talking to my son. He was like 14, 15 years old. And I was like, tell me what you remember in life. And he's like, he started rattling off. Everything he told me was everything he earned. Not one thing. His cell phone, didn't remember it. I gave it to him. And I said, do you realize everything you mentioned was something that you earned? Those are the ones that stuck with you. So how about this? So I told my children from a very young age, you're all a science experiment. I don't know. I can just share with what I'm learning. I'm sharing with you with what I'm learning. And I said, how about this? How about whatever you want in life, I'll meet you halfway. So a car, a PlayStation, or whatever. And they were like, yeah, let's do that. So my way of raising the kids, I don't know if it was right, but it's working. And we talked about it. It wasn't like, this is the way it's always been. It's like, hey, how about we try this? And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll back out. And that's how we did it. I worked with my kids openly in an experiment, saying, I'm not sure. How about this? Because I wanted to be honest, because they didn't come with a manual. I didn't fucking know.
This is why I wanted to be on your podcast, man. Because I'm
figuring it out too. I'm lost.
But I wouldn't be on somebody's just random podcast meeting up with some dude. Unless I was like, yo, this guy knows what he's just not average or typical. You are not. I'm not saying that to boost your head up.
No,
I really don't think that you're average or typical, because I don't even look at myself like I don't think that I'm average. I don't think that I'm just normal. I don't. I think half the stuff I do is a little ludicrous.
I think you're insightful.
That's why I look
I don't
at
know
you.
why. I don't know about about your parents. So, for some reason, you're insightful. What about your brothers and sisters? You're the youngest?
Yeah. My brother.
Are y'all similar?
Okay, so I'm the guy that learned from everybody.
Okay.
So the reason I don't do drugs is because
I had the same thing, my brother.
Seen
normal.
I've seen. You know what I mean? I don't know if my brother's gonna watch this one day. I don't even want to throw him out there. I would definitely never.
My
say
brother's
his name.
too. My brother too. My brother. You should see my brother. He's living in a camper with a blue tarp around it.
Yeah.
And I love him. I went and hooked his electricity up recently,
Yeah.
and I think he had a disadvantage because he was the oldest.
And he did. They were really the experiment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was
we're all
really
fucked
the
up.
experiment.
Yeah, the firstborn's probably got it the worst.
My firstborn is absolutely my brother. That is the firstborn. I would say exactly what you just said. I'm not going to say it on camera. Secondborn is a little bit better. He's very, 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 very smart. Somebody that you would, whenever he's level-minded, for sure. Now, the one that is just above me is
There's 4 brothers.
I have 3.
Yeah, but there's four boys.
4 boys.
Yeah.
All of us are boys, and it's amazing how it goes. The one that's just above me is the one that has conformity, right? So he's very conformed.
He's a conformist.
He's the one that abides.
Okay, but I think a conformist is someone that expects you to as well.
Absolutely.
So he's a conformist.
You know what's funny? He was about to call the cops on me just 2 days ago on Sunday.
Funny.
All right, so today's Tuesday. 2 days ago, he's gonna call the
I
cops.
can't wait to meet your brothers.
Over something.
Yeah.
But he's that way.
Okay.
But one thing about him is that so fortunate for him, he had those traits. He grabbed those traits from my dad, even though I don't think it came naturally. I could be wrong. But he grabbed those traits from my dad to be an entrepreneur. He runs $100,000 business. $100,000 where he is profiting $100,000.
Yeah.
He runs that,
Yeah.
Once again, I won't say his name, but he does. And I'm actually really proud. It's something that he's actually not even naturally capable of doing. But he listened to my dad. And my dad, he's not naturally that way, but my dad kind of coached him through it. Even after my dad died, he started the business. Immediately after starting the business, I'm getting texts from him, and I talk to him every other day. And he's like, yo, man, I just made $4,000 today. I'm like, good God. And I'm like, golly. But he's that way. But I just don't think, I think that you should search for the people. The reason I say that, and me personally, I already know where I'm headed. Mentally, like where I'm headed, and even financially, I know exactly where I'm headed. I feel like it's important to not just go off of what you have done, like what you think but go off of the people that are already there. You should really try to tackle those people that.
Well, I can tell you this: in the end, like in the last over a year, I would say, I don't know. I'd have to ask Garrett. Garrett, how long has it been? Year, something. My business partner and close friend.
Yeah.
We have not worked in over a year. And I just shut it down like that. Like we went from making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Done. Like it was kind of lucky because COVID kind of hit. But we could have regrouped and made plenty of money. Like I've been turning all my work down. I've been giving it all away. The money doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
You need to make a certain amount. If you can make 60, 70,000 a year.
Yeah, you think there's like a threshold of like
70,000.
Anything else is excessive.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah.
You don't even need that. You just,
yeah. Now, I don't know about for a household. As an individual, if you make 70,000 as an individual, you find somebody that complements you and to make 30, 40, 50, you can live good. You can travel the country, you can travel the world, you can do whatever the fuck you want on $130,000. Now, in the next 5 years, you probably need to make $330,000 because inflation's going crazy. But none of that shit mattered because I was making so much money and I was miserable. Not miserable as I was unhappy and I was I was miserable in a way that I was making all this money and it didn't provide any extra value. I wasn't doing anything that made a difference in the world. I was taking
off.
You gotta go piss?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry about that. We've had to take a few pee breaks. Everything's still rolling. Hey, listen, I'll wrap this up with, for me,
Yeah.
and I'll let you have the final word. I was just talking about money, and fuck the money. Fuck the $4,000.
Yeah.
Fuck this, because none of that shit provided value. When you want to be happy, it's when you are providing value in the world. When you are making a difference in other people's lives is when you will feel like you have purpose. That will provide meaning. That will give you happiness.
Yeah.
That will let you come home to your wife. Or if you are a wife, it'll let you come home to your husband. And you will be a productive member of that family. And you won't be a burden. And at the end of the day, you go home, you tickle each other's shoulders, and you just smile. It's what it's all about, man. Fuck the money.
Yeah.
Past a certain point, fuck the money. It's why they did a measurement. Like, all the billionaires are fucking miserable. All
It
of them.
matters until it doesn't.
If you're not providing value in the world, then you are consuming more than you're producing.
Yeah.
And that means you're dying.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Fuck the money.
I think there's definitely a point where you're chasing something that you just don't even need. What was the point? It's like overkill whenever you're hunting.
Yeah.
You know, like you kill.
Yeah, you
let's
live
just say,
off 3,
Let's just say
you
you're
kill
really
6.
hungry.
You feel guilty.
You need to kill that. You have to kill
point.
that deer. You kill the deer. Now you go out and you kill 18 more. What are you doing?
Yeah,
What are
it's the
you
same
doing?
thing.
Just need
Well,
to
because
eat.
you think that one deer made me feel good, I'll kill more. And I'll kill more. And that's what money thinks.
That's
they think
what it is.
That's why people gamble. And no. Are you making a difference in other people's lives? Yeah. If that is a no, then you're going to be fucking miserable.
Yeah.
You're consuming more than you're producing. Okay, I say this all the fucking time. The secret to happiness. The secret to happiness is to produce more than you consume. To give more than you take. And you will always receive more than you ever gave. That's it. Like, if you focus on that, if that's your mission, so if you work for a company, like I work for Nissan, my goal for Nissan is to produce more than I take from that company. To set that company up in a way that it's future-proofing itself. Like, that's my vision for Nissan, is that I'm building something to where it can survive. Like, something that could be much more than me. Yeah, yeah.
Contributing.
But way more than me. If I died, it could just live on without me. This thing that I'm trying to build. And then, so for me, it's like whatever's best for Nissan is what's going to be best for me. Not whatever's best for me is going to be best for Nissan. I look at it opposite. I was like, fuck what's best for me. What's best for the company?
Yeah.
And that'll make me feel good.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do.
That's
I just want to feel good.
The feeling is what,
that's it. That's all every choice we make is to feel something. And it's usually to feel good.
And sometimes the things that you think will make you feel good isn't what will make you feel better than what you would have done.
I know, because we want that quick high.
You want that quick high, but
That short-term gain, long-term misery. Yeah. That goes to relationships. That goes to everything, whether you're dating or whatever it is.
She's pretty, but
yeah,
is she gonna last? Is she gonna last?
These rules apply whether or not you're 16 years old and you're looking at a girl, or you're a girl and you see this guy. Every choice you make in that moment is no different than running a $1 billion corporation. It's the same thing. It's all a feeling. You're all chasing a fucking feeling, whether you know it or not. It's all the same. We're shallow fucking creatures. We're so simple. We think we're special, but we're not. Yeah. I think we've been going for a couple hours. I thought this was going to last about an hour. Hour and a half was in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, man, we just go off and we just start getting into it. And everything you've talked about is something that I can honestly, relate to. You're not just bringing up random thoughts. It's like something
that's the name of the podcast, Random Thoughts.
Okay.
Random thoughts about specific ideas.
Your random thoughts are very, very close.
You didn't know that, did you? Random Thoughts is the name of the podcast. Did I tell you that?
You did, and I actually
you
went
didn't
back.
Realize that, did you?
I didn't think about it especially whenever I was saying. I went back and I watched a couple of them.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of knew what you was getting into.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this was fun for me. This is probably so. What I've decided to do was, instead of trying to have a new guest on every week, want to do reoccurring, like maybe narrow it down to 5 or 6, and You know, like almost like a co-host thing.
Yeah.
It's just fucking bullshit. I'm telling you, if we're interested, somebody out there is going to be interested.
Sure.
Maybe not the majority.
Well, the majority.
Fuck the majority. We're the minority.
Yeah.
We're just trying to fucking do the best we can.
Yeah.
Well, Juan, what a pleasure.
Yeah. What a pleasure. I'm glad to just be here, man. Honestly, I'm really glad.
Hey, where are you from?
I'm from here.
Are you Murfreesboro?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I went to school in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne area, Shelbyville, too.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to end this here, and I think we'll do this again. This is the first time. I don't know what podcast this is, but I'm excited about it because I had a good time.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate you coming on.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you made me think today.
You made me think. You kind of fucking challenged me. I didn't know that you were religious, even though I hate the term religious. What are you if you're not religious? Maybe you are religious.
I don't know the definition of religion.
It's like a man-made thing. I don't know either. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe another topic.
Whatever. You like
day.
the Bible.
I like the Bible. Absolutely.
That was something new to me, and I'm interested in that because I love to be challenged there, and it's something that I'm really curious about. And I've got to the point that I'm a little bit scared about it.
I don't like the Bible, and this is probably a topic for another time.
Go ahead.
I like the Bible, but I'm saying I don't like the Bible because of what I've heard. I like the Bible because of what I've read.
Oh, gotcha.
And then what I've seen.
Gotcha.
That's it.
Well, until next time, so long, bitch.